I'm Janine Skerry. I'm the Senior Curator of Metalwork at Colonial Williamsburg. And today we're having breakfast at the Governor's Palace. The table features a mixture of metal items that fall under my responsibility and ceramic items that are cared for by my colleague.
And I'm Angelika. I'm Associate Curator of Ceramics and Glass.
Angelika, would you like to start with the ceramics?
Sure. So one thing that you might notice is that the ceramics on the table are actually two different styles and decoration, and they're actually two different ceramic bodies. We have creamware plates, it's a refined white earthenware that's lead glazed, and there's transfer decoration on it. And the transfer decoration, think of t-shirts today. It's basically like the 18th century version of a decal. And each plate is decorated with what we refer to, what was even referred to in the period as Liverpool birds pattern. They were exotic birds, and often featuring kind of a peafowl-like birds. And then you have individual transfers on each segment of the rim as well. Fragments of this pattern turn up, there are numerous fragments that turn up here at archaeologically here at the Governor's Palace site, including great fragments of creamware basket that's like the one that's here in the center of the table. And you see it filled with fruit. It would have been used either as we have here for breakfast, but also used as part of the dessert service. The other ceramics that are on the table are this Chinese porcelain tea set. And these are really, really wonderful for a couple of reasons. Not only is this very high style for very appropriate to be on the governor's table, and these are Chinese porcelain, so they, again, really a sign of wealth at the time. But you'll notice all this gilding, some of which is a little worn, nothing unusual given this age. And this service is about mid-1750s. And I didn't mention a date for the creamware, but this is really the height of style in the 1760s and up until the 1780s, really. But the great thing about this tea set is that all this gilding was actually done in England, most likely done in London. And we'll put in the comments, we'll put a photo of a detail, but each piece is marked by the gilder on the bottom, and it's a little arrow mark. And different gilders, I mean, we're getting paid by the piece, so different gilders use different marks to identify their work so that they could get paid. And you'll notice two forms of cups on the table. We have a handleless teacup, and then also a cup that is usually referred to as a coffee cup. It's this more cylindrical form with a handle, and I won't pick it up so the teaspoon doesn't move. But speaking of teaspoons,
well, thank you, Angelika. I'm glad you mentioned that. You'll notice that the cups and saucers are rather small by our modern standards. In fact, people today might be tempted to call this a demi-tasse coffee cup, but it's not. Teaspoons and teacups and coffee cups are all small because the beverage was new and expensive, and the teaspoons by modern standards are really tiny. But I love this particular pattern of spoon. It's called Apollo. It's a stamped design on the handle, picturing the god Apollo, and it's very much in the Rococo style. These are from right around the 1750s. And what I especially like about them is that they were made by a woman silversmith. Many of you who visit Colonial Williamsburg and go into the Golden Ball Silver Shop have talked with and asked about the women who work in the shop. And yes, there were female silversmiths in 18th century, and this particular silversmith is a woman named Elizabeth Oldfield. So it's very exciting to represent an aspect of silversmithing that's not as commonly found or known about by many people today. Another favorite piece for me on this table is the egg stand. I love soft-boiled eggs. And if you're going to eat a soft-boiled egg, this is the way to do it in style. Now, the egg stand is a frame with removable cups. We have it sitting on top of a little metal tray or salver. And you'll notice we've got an egg in each cup. The eggs are conservation approved. They have actually been hollowed out. So yes, it's a real egg, but the contents have been removed. There's a little hole there in the top. And I'm going to pull out one of these cups. So there's a little cup with a gilded lining to it that your egg would sit in. You remove it from the stand, you put it on your plate, you crack the top with one of the little spoons, and you eat your egg in a very stylish way. Now, why the gilding? Well, egg yolks are very corrosive. They have a lot of sulfur in them, and because of that reason, we find that silversmiths would put a gold wash over the silver so that the egg would not cause corrosion. You'll also notice that there's a gilded wash inside the basket at the top, and that's a basket for salt with little tiny spoons. It's a little salt dish. You like salt on top of your boiled eggs, I bet. And there's one part about this I haven't mentioned. This is actually not silver. It's the great pretender. It looks like silver, but it's actually a sandwich of silver and copper called Sheffield plate. And so it gives you all the look of this luxury item without quite as much expense. We have, however, added another type of spoon to this stand, and you'll notice there are these little holders for each spoon. They hang from a little loop on the rim. This particular spoon is one of a set that was made in Scotland, and it's a very distinctive style to the handle that identifies it as Scottish, as well as the marks on the back of the piece. These are sterling silver. They fit this stand very nicely, and that is why we've included them in this display. But I think if you're going to eat hard-boiled eggs or soft-boiled eggs for breakfast, this is the most elegant way to do it.